Hi everyone, it's Priyo from E2E Learners. Welcome to my channel, and I made up this channel to help you understand about English in an efficient way. So I dealt with a couple of things in doing mistakes in English, so I'd like to mention a couple of things in doing mistakes. So what are the things that you feel when you're about to learn a new language? First things first, like when a child and a baby starts to learn a language, what does he do? He actually ends up doing some mistakes in making us understand what he's trying to feel inside himself. So we just support him. What he's feeling, he's just feeling terrible. He can't even figure out how to express his feelings. He's trying to look for the vocabulary to come up with and to squeeze these words into sentences and make the sentence perfect and to speak to others. And what he feels inside his mind is always different. This is not even similar to what he wants to try to speak to others. And so these are the struggles, these are the challenges and difficulties that a person faces when starts to learn a language. So you'll have to be very supported about it. The second thing is that you don't need to think about doing your mistakes. The fear of making mistakes is the biggest problem. So don't even fear. If you do not make mistakes, you're not even trying to get into the position from where you can bring up the solution, how to fix things up, So you will make mistakes and take that as an opportunity. Like Albert Einstein said, if you're not going through mistakes, you're not learning something new. So what does he try to say? He tried to make us experiment with language. Experimenting, when you're trying to experiment something, the result is not the main thing. When you end up doing something which is not even close to your target, you are not frustrated. You're just doing it as an experiment. So when you experiment something, your result might be good, your result might be positive, your result might be negative, but you're not even worried about it. What do? You accept your stuff. You will have to just go through all the phases of these things to experiment with language as well. So learn a language like a language. Don't even try to think of something which is not even close to it. Okay? So the third thing that I'd like to mention is don't take learning or doing mistakes like someone is going to listen to your speaking like they're the teachers of your high school, and they're just going to be like the test takers, and they're going to punish for every mistake that you do, grammatical mistakes or like the way you pronounce yourself. I'd like to mention a story with you all. The story was about my friend, and I and my friend was once talking about learning English, and I was just about to teach him a word, and I tried to say him, will you please tell me or pronounce the word like vocabulary. What he did was like he said vocabulary. He didn't even try to understand where the stress should be given. So I was just making him understand about, please try to say vocabulary, not vocabulary. There is some difference in pronouncing the words. You'll have to try to catch how the speakers are expressing or how the speakers are pronouncing with their accent. And in American accent, you'll have to understand about the stress they are giving to that particular words, So those are the things that you will feel very weird in some scenarios, in some challenges, and you will just try to make the best out of it. So you'll have to face the challenges inside yourself. And different scenarios, you can also, what should I say, like you can talk to yourself when you're alone at home. You can see things around, you can name it, you can just try to tell the details of the things around you. And when you're trying to coming up with the information, extracting information from the particular thing that you see outside or inside your mind, you can also come up with new words, and you may end up making some things which are really different. But don't worry about it. You are about to learn. You are about to experiment. Just go with the experiment, So doing mistakes is very important for you. When you are not doing mistakes, you're not being confident. When you are not confident, you can speak what you have inside yourself. And sometimes we feel a lot of things, but we can't express with good words, with good vocabulary, and we just think like doing the translation inside ourselves, and we're just translating everything into our native language and then come up with the thing we'd like to express to others. These are the main focus, which are the biggest challenges, which are the biggest things that we'll have to face in struggling period, So stop doing that. Stop translating in your native language. That's the thing for the target language. When you see something like what I have inside. This is like a fan, you know. If I think of my native language of that particular word, what am I really doing is translating and doing those horrible things once again, and these are not the good way to approach a new language. What should I just think here? I will have to think in English as I'm a English learner, as I'm trying to learn English like a language. I'll have to just speak it naturally. I don't have to go through the artificial things. Most of the students are just, what should I say, like they're reading all the time, they're just reading transcripts, they're just reading, following the structures, how to speak things quickly, they're just trying to memorize all the conversations, and they're just trying to come up with something which is not even close to it. So I'd like to just give them the thing which are really very effortless. You don't have to have that type of, what should I say, like effective steps on just following, and you don't have to worry about everything else as well. So what you can do, you can be very natural. So if you feel something horrible, you can feel no problem, but you'll have to express. When you're expressing, you are doing the 50% of a communication. You know, communication is made of what? Two things. One thing is you'll have to listen to the speaker and you have to understand in which topic you're going to express your feelings, what are the questions he is asking, what the answers are going to be to make him understand about what we feel inside. So this is 50% of communication, listening, okay? And speaking is 50% of communication. And these two things, both of these two things make communication fruitful. You know, sometimes we're not even trying to pay heed to their attention. We're not even trying to listen to what the other person is saying. We're just very excited about expressing what I feel inside, and sometimes we're not even paying attention to the, or should I say, like listening as well. So these are the things which are really horrible in making things up, and when you're really fearful of doing some things like that, then you can always end up doing something which is horrible. So how to come over all of these things? You can take the challenge to yourself, you can speak with yourself, you can mirror yourself, you know, you can ask yourself some questions and give the answer to that question to yourself. You don't need to worry about it. If you feel like you're just going to go through which are not even older, which are not even, what should I say, like existing inside yourself, which is something different, which is something new, then you have that fear or you have that anxiety inside yourself, you create and focus on the negative things so again and again, then this is really going to make you feel very embarrassed and shy as well whenever you are trying to express yourself to others. So the last thing that I would like to mention is to be very what should I say, supportive of yourself. You'll have to support yourself. You are the biggest critic of yourself. So what should I say, like when you're trying to speak, just be confident, and if you do mistakes, no problem. Mistakes are the way to approach things, and this is the way. This is very normal. You are not perfect, you know, no one is perfect in this world, so you don't need to be perfect, just you'll have to progress all the time. Progressing is good, but if you want to be perfect, then definitely you have some problem inside yourself. So don't need to be perfect in speaking English. Yes, sometimes it's just feel like you know some phrases well, you know some vocabulary well. That doesn't make you the greatest and the perfect person in the world in speaking English, okay? You know just well, you're progressing, you're doing improvement all the time, you're developing your skills in English. So what are you really trying to do? You will have to just keep going, okay? Continue learning and study hard, practice more and more. If you can, just to speak with yourself all the time, and if you can, listen to a variety of things. If you get an opportunity, listen to the movies. If you get an opportunity, listen to music videos, you know. If you get an opportunity, try to listen to the podcasts, TED Talks, the lectures on YouTube. You know, there are several websites you can take a look at. There are blog spots as well. I'd like to give, what should I say, like I'd like to mention my blog, what I really love, and you can also be benefited from that particular blog if you read. That blog is e2elearners.blogspot.com. I will give the link in the description below. You can also check it out. So I think there are several things as well that you can, if you just to make it your lifestyle, you can be greatly benefited from. You'll have to make it your style, your fashion. This is just your hobby. You don't have to think about everything else, every negative aspects. Just focus on the things. I would like to mention a very important things. When you're trying to have the good result, your action will have to be different. Your action is like this, your result will be like this all the time. The result is bad because your action is bad. The result is good because your action is good. How your action will be good? Your action will be good if you have the right emotion. When you have right emotion, when you have the right physical gesture, when you have something inside yourself, when you're very excited about doing something, challenging yourself, facing all of the challenges of life and struggling, when the struggling period is over, you may end up doing something great. And I hope you all may be benefited from this particular lesson, a particular video. I tried to mention a couple of mistakes that the speakers of English language, not a speaker, what should I say, like whoever tries to speak in English, they like to do in their learning period. And also these mistakes are also, what should I say, acceptable not for the native speakers but also for the speakers who are learning this as a second language, because they are trying to learn it as their second language. They already have their own language, so it is very acceptable. So I hope it will support you and it will guide you, inspire you in doing something great, and you will end up doing something fantastically well. So thanks for being with me.